Testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, guys. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Dana with the Data podcast. Yes. So, as you guys can read in the title, it says, is it time? Well, let me just make sure I got it right. Is it time for Black Americans to delineate? X Space recap. So every Tuesday, I help Judge Brown facilitate his X Space. And the topic was Cory Booker and his fake viral moment that he was trying to generate. He went viral, and I was going to do the show about something trending, such as Cory Booker, but I didn't want to do that because I had a headache all day today. And I don't know if it's from dehydration or when I fell and hit my forehead. However, I wanted something a little bit more easy, but meaningful. So during the X Space last night, great conversations. Whether I agree or whether you guys agree with me, it don't matter. I love great conversations, whether it's discourse or whether we are in agreement. That is the purpose of a mature intellectual conversations. People who have different ideologies, perspective, points of views coming together and having a discussion, respectful discussion. And that's what took place last night. A lot of people sometimes don't like Judge Joe Brown's views and ideologies, and they have every right to feel that way. And just like he doesn't agree with people as well. And so last night, the conversation ended up evolving into the discussion of Black Americans delineating. And we was talking about the Muslim city in Texas. And I'm going to play the clip between Judge Joe Brown and a ex person goes by the name of Sway Me. And I actually been in correspondence with Sway Me in a ex messaging. And I do want to have her come on a panel because I want to start doing panels, having these different types of discussions, right? And I do want her to come on my show to discuss her organization and what they're doing with the Black Freedmen Bureau and Black Freedmen movement, right? Great things. But sometimes it's just the way you have a goal to achieve, and sometimes people have different pathways to achieving that goal. So I am going to play the clip. The clip is probably like 30 minutes, which is great timing because, like I said, I wasn't feeling well today to get together because I wanted to talk about Cory Booker. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pre record the Cory Booker show, and that gives me time to write out my notes and history because I got to go back in history and do a compare and contrast. So that I'm just going to pre-record that, and that will probably drop over the weekend. So I'm like, I need something. Yes, could tell you like, yes, I like her too. So I needed something. Again, I only want to utilize my platform for stuff that is meaningful with substance. In this conversation, like I said last night, was of great substance. So let me share. I hate when I say and this is from my other channel, the real Judge Joe Brown. Where am I? I'm right here. How do I want to do this? I guess I could do it this way. Yeah. And this gives me a break tonight. This gives me a break. So guys, please hit the like button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Hit the like button. Please share this live stream on all your social media outlets. And all right, unless I could do it this way or this way. So I'll do it that way. Yeah. And he was filibustering against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So my thing is, okay, Cory Booker, you broke his record to say what, to present what. Um, I look at it, you up there breaking his record, but you were on the same side. Wasn't he a Democrat? Correct me if I'm wrong. Thurman, was he a Democrat?
He's one of those that was Democrat, I think, and then went to Republican.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
But he was a lifelong Democrat, basically. But the problem, what gets under my skin is Democrats are making shit up, and they are making it up a narrative so well and so finesse and so sophisticated that the general public believes it, and the general public is very gullible, very much. They're easily can be easily manipulated. So, and the Democrats, they don't have a plan. They're just making shit up, and people are starting a little bit by little bit starting to believe their bullshit. So I'm gonna go to Sway Me.
Good evening, Dana and Judge Joe Brown. Dana.
So, okay, so this is the beginning of the discussion. Like I said, it was a great discussion. And I did agree with a lot of things that the judge was saying. You know, I got even a little bit inspired. Listen, at the end of the day, me and Judge O'Brien would go back and forth with certain things, but 90% of the time, you know, he is spot on. Um, and especially when it comes to the law. And a lot of times when he is engaging in these conversations and discussions, he is looking through the lens of the legal system, the constitution, of the law, of political science, as we all should. But he's an expert in that area. And anytime we are talking about politics, the law is always involved. The constitution is always involved. When you talk about legislation, anything that has to do with public policies, you know, you always have to refer to the law of the land, which is why it's very important for us to understand the basics of the Bill of Rights, the amendments, the Constitution, your local laws and state laws and federal laws. So, like I said, this is the beginning of the discussion, and I want to play it all the way through and share your thoughts in the chat, in the comment section. Hit the like button, share this video. And if you would like to donate, you could do so. My Cash App is $ Dana with the data, or you could send in a super chat. All right, here we go.
Great point. Great point, because I don't know why Cory Booker is standing up for Strom Thurmond, as we know Strom Thurmond never supported our community. So it's weird. And along with that, I was going to ask the judge and you about what's going on in Texas with Epic City, and now the uh, Muslims are building all these mosques. They're building this city where they're saying they're going to implement Sharia law. And here we are once again with the First Amendment and the freedom of speech, and of course, religion, to choose religion. But it's not looking good from what I'm hearing with what they're doing. They're saying they're going to build it no matter what. And I'm just having real issues with all these people coming to America, and they can do what the freaking frack they want to do. But the Americans who have been here, built this country, developed it, and advanced it, everything that our wealth has been plundered. I'm really pissed off. I'm really agitated that other people can come here and do what the freaking frack they want to do, get as much money, get as many resources. And here I'm a descendant, and we done fought for World War II to bring the Jews over, and we get nothing. I'm over it. And these people can come here and do whatever they want to do. I land.
I think the judge had to go out and come back in.
I'm back. I heard people trying to talk to my recording again.
I don't know.
We're a little weird. Okay.
So,
if they're American citizens, they're entitled to freedom of speech. First Amendment guarantees freedom of religion. Now, here's the thing about Sharia law. You can talk about it all you want to, but all you can do is agree that with people who are members of your particular, well, strain of the religion or faith, who want to practice it with you, you can do that with each other. under the U.S. Arbitration Act of 1928, you can establish any rules you want to be binding on contractual arbitration, but you cannot impose a Sharia law in a fashion where it gets applied where it really counts, which is through official entities like state, local, and federal governments. That's not going to happen. We are based on the common law with one exception in the United States, and that is based on Napoleonic codes out of Louisiana. But they've morphed over into common law as well. So Sharia law is not going to happen, but that's just part of the collateral consequences of having the First Amendment and free speech. You have to tolerate people when they decide to do what they want to do. And I will assure you that all followers of Islam are not trying to get Sharia law implied or imposed, because that wasn't part of the whole thing to begin with. That came later. So that's local. That's like wearing the burqas. There is nothing in the Quran that says a woman has to do that. That stems from this local pre-existing custom and practice, not from the Quran, when women have to cover themselves up like that.
Right. That,
But
and
we who
it's,
don't know
I
much
think
about it
people,
think
can you
that
hear me,
comes from
Judge?
that. So a
Can
lot
you
of
hear
it
me?
is just
Carrie,
like
can you hear me?
Christians.
They are American citizens. If you have the money to buy land and create a community, you could do that. You have every right to do it. I don't have a problem with that. There are Muslim communities now. There are a whole bunch of Jewish communities. Look at Brooklyn. You might as, even though it's, you might as well say they kind of technically bought up land or whatever, but they have their own police department. So you have groups of people who create their own community, their own school education, their own police departments locally, and they operate. Now you cannot implement like Sharia law punishments on American soil, because this is not Iran or another country, but that's not the premise of Sharia law. And it's really disheartening for me to see the media and people on social media that are making these posts, trying to say, well, they're building a Muslim city and it's going to be a whole bunch of terrorists or whatever, just stereotyping. And so, and I say that to say, because I have family members, my grandkids are Muslim and they just got finished celebrating Eid. My grandson could speak fluent in Arabic. And I do know I think it's in Houston or maybe Dallas, but in Texas or maybe Austin. But I know my daughter was telling me they have a very large Muslim community. And you talk about mansions, like all these communities of these big mansions, and they're all, it's all Muslim owned.
I'm gonna fast forward.
So people
I'm having the problem.
pay for it.
Having the problem.
So, and I say the community, and you talk about because at one point
Our resources and others can't.
or there were towns burned down, but that's not happening today. So we could always rebuild.
Right, but that's the thing. Why are we having to rebuild on our land? But I get you, Dana. So when we delineate as freedmen and we separate and make sure we get all of our resources and others can't be in our pot, we must do that as Americans, because these others are coming to take over and remove us from our rightful position in our country. And I have a problem with it. And I get everybody can come here and live and do what you want to do, but I'm seeing, especially on the political level, where they're coming in to make sure the Americans, us, don't receive anything that is due to us. So that's why I'm having the problem and highly frustrated, because I've attempted to pass legislation specifically for my demographic of my people, American freedmen.
But that doesn't happen. Our representatives who look like black folk in black caucuses pass legislation for the rainbow community, not their black constituents. So what
Or the immigrants.
Well, the immigrants have power because they control who they vote for, and they have some say because they are engaged in the political process instead of spending time praying in church or getting pimped by a pulpit pimp or talking about they don't get involved in politics when they do, but they don't realize it. They don't say that. They get engaged in it and pay a lot of attention to it. And if you talk to that community, they're up on a lot of details. They do what we're doing right here, but the typical person that you're talking about who's getting ignored, hey, they haven't done anything for a long, long time. And when they do something, it's sort of like they're out there putting on a display that a lot of people just ignore with no penalties or consequences for ignoring it. The Black Caucus certainly has enough members to actually have some effect. But if you look at the voting record and the legislative activities of the Black Caucus over the last 40 years, it has essentially been rainbow, not black. So we are stupid enough to elect representatives who do not represent the impacted community, but somebody else, and just pimp the community that they look like. It's that community's fault for doing that. They have a truth about American politics. It's this: the people get the representatives they deserve. And if their representatives are crap, that's because the people who put them in office are crap. Remember, even somebody as idiot stupid as Jasmine Crockett is handily elected by her constituents who must be just as stupid as her to put her in. Look at the people who put in Cory Booker. He's a fool, an idiot. But there must be other idiots who want him in because they put him in. Now, that's maybe there's a massive electoral cheating, but he gets in. So who put him in?
Do you know about APAC grooming individuals in our community?
If you let that happen, then that's your fault. I mean, you have the same rights now, the same possibilities now, same potential now as anybody in this system. You're talking about people who just got here knowing how to work this system better than we do. We can play basketball, but that doesn't count. We can go out and play football, but that doesn't count. We can talk baseball and we can dance and sing and do rap and put on clothes that single you out and say, here's a red flag, come bust me, I'm going to be a fool. We can do that, but we do not choose to exercise our options and our time to become proficient in what other people come here and pick up immediately on. We've been here several hundred years, but we haven't gotten it yet. Apparently, some of us do.
I beg to differ, though, Judge, but go ahead.
But what I'm talking about is begging to differ doesn't cut it. What do you see as results? None. Why? Because we are ineffective. And we go along with people that don't give a damn about black folk. They give a lot of damn about the fact that black folk vote. And as I'm saying a lot, at one time, black people were exploited for their free labor for King Cotton. Now they're exploited for their free votes for Queen Rainbow.
So I wanted to pause right there, and I just realized what I forgot to do. I forgot to send out an email to my people that subscribe to my website that I'm live. But anyway, and I'm about to do that. He made some great points. The representation that you have is the representation that you voted in the office. So if your representation ain't shit, then that means the people who voted them in ain't shit. And the reason why I am replaying this is because this is the trajectory that I want to start having panels on to talk about why is it that immigrants come here and some groups excel ahead of Black Americans and even white Americans. Why is that? You know, I do want to talk about what is going on in Congress, the corruption, you know, and any other worldly issues that are affecting us, the people. So let me go ahead and finish playing.
So Nobody's going to
Yeah,
lynch
but
you.
our experience hasn't been the same as the others.
No, it
So,
doesn't make any
our
difference. Then
people
we're
been
dumber than what.
disenfranchised
See,
from
but
the political
if
process
you
for
want to
quite
take
some
that
time.
position, that makes us dumber than everybody else, because obviously there's a lack of intelligence there to make the connections. If you have had worse experience, but you're here right now and you can't even catch up with somebody that just got here, that says badly about you. Nobody's going to lynch you now.
Well,
Nobody's
they
going to.
they they were under that fear. Yes, you're
Yeah,
correct. No
well, if
one's
they're
gonna lynch us
fearful,
now,
then a
but we've
coward.
been in a space of politics where people were lynched
We're not. There's been
for
nobody
voting,
lynched
right?
in your lifetime. There's been nobody lynched in a long time. It
Well,
the middle.
Martin Luther King and
He
Malcolm
wasn't
X were
lynched. He was
assassinated, correct?
murdered, and he was murdered by another black man's order. J. Edgar Hoover, who ran the FBI. I was the last judge on that case. It was ridiculous. The Black Caucus is treating the FBI like they're their saviors, and the FBI was created to oppress black folk. J. Edgar Hoover was a black, slightly passing for white. If you look at early pictures of him, there's no question as to what it is. Smithsonian Institution's even running stories on that. So, I mean, but we sit there and we do each other in. Look at these clowns that we elect. They don't do anything for us. And when you say us, you have to expand it. Maybe we get so insular talking about us, when us isn't doing anything for us. Maybe we need to start saying, okay, it was a bad move. Maybe we need to start offsetting this by learning what the new arrivals have already learned and are putting to work, and shut up and do. We just talk, and ask somebody to do for us. They don't do that. They do it for themselves. So if we're begging people to help us out like we're still children, that's like a 35, 40-year-old man doesn't have a job, sits on his couch downstairs in the basement at his parents' house, his mother's house, mooching money and food instead of going out and being self-sustaining and complaining about white supremacy keeps him down. That's ridiculous. There is no earthly reason right now that anybody of any color should legitimately start claiming that the system's come holding him down because of what he is. What he looks like, yes. And you see, a great deal of this negativity has got nothing to do with the fact that somebody's black. It's got to do with somebody's displayed culture. Loud, boisterous, unruly, looking like some kind of circus clown in some rags, or somebody homeless, even if you have money, who just dug something out of the dumpster to put on. Sagged and bagged, looking like somebody's a queer out of the joint. It's
Come
crazy.
on, Judge, give us a break.
I'm not giving anybody a break.
You
It's
have to give
time
us
to
a
do
break,
it. I'm
Ken.
Can
not
everybody
giving.
stay on their mic?
I got
I'm
I'm
not.
gonna
I'm not
get
doing
got by
that.
I'm
you.
not giving.
I'm not. Please don't come up in here with that. I have to go to J Views. Then I go to Judge Sarah, then Duncan. Please stay. Everybody stay on your mic. And I can't, Judge.
You know I gotta mess with him.
I'm
You know I
afraid,
gotta mess
Judge.
with
I'm
him.
afraid to make you a co-host because it may start messing up. But go ahead, Judge.
See, what
Hey,
happens
you
is
guys, hey
you can't. I
Shayna.
know
You
this.
know I gotta give him a hard
I
time
know
because
Yeah,
I
can
this.
you
got a
please
couple of things.
stop, Judge Sarah? I get it, but don't interrupt
See,
him. He in the middle
I
of
know.
talking. Like, just mute up. I mean,
Let me just say this. My patients are very thin. I don't have any patience for adults. I have all the patience for children and babies. And that really pisses me off when I hold my X spaces. If I'm because I run really much smooth X spaces, but that is like one of my major pet peeves, whether it's X space or a panel. It's like stop cutting people off, hopping off your mic, interjecting, especially when somebody is in the middle of their build. Like that's such disrespect.
I'm gonna get to you.
Is it my turn or no?
not yet.
No.
Okay, I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
I'm sorry. I
not
wasn't
yet.
listening.
The
I was
judge is
anxious to
speaking.
talk to him.
Now,
I'm
the
sorry.
judge is speaking. Let me finish.
Yes,
This is
sir.
what you need to hear. Stop looking for somebody to do something for you that you can do for yourself. It does not work. And
Got it,
also,
Judge. I'm doing the work, Judge, but I
all
do see
listen,
something in doing the work. I
listen,
see something. I see
listen,
something happening.
listen.
But go ahead.
You can make it happen. You have all of these filthy rich black athletes and entertainers who bug dance and distract people.
We're not looking at them.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
I'm
you
just
are.
general
Yes, you are.
population.
That's where we get our imagery. Somebody's patronizing looking at housewives of Atlanta. Somebody's fool enough to keep up with the Kardashians. Somebody's damn fool enough to want to see Blackish. Somebody is damn fool enough to try and exclude themselves into some kind of separated community that doesn't have a damn thing in it. Somebody is stupid enough not to, when they're 18, 19 years old, take science, technology, engineering, math, economy, law, and all sorts of other things that'll allow you to make it in the real world. And they got some little lightweight BS degree they're getting that won't get them a job.
Hey, Clean. Instead of focusing on small clients or serving,
have kids who have ample opportunity because there's nothing else to do to stop in a library when they're in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade and learn what's going on. They don't. They're playing basketball and they're 5'5" and will never make a pro team. That's what's going on, and that's ridiculous. We ideate. It's not even a we thing anymore. It's like, do you realize how badly some ordinary black folk are thinking about other black folk because of the behaviors? See, white folk have this thing, what do they call it? Trailer park trash, acting like a damn fool. Nobody likes that. But for some reason, over the last 50 years, that's supposed to be where all of the black folk in America are supposed to find themselves when it comes to behavior. Acting like fools, ignoramuses, the unwashed, the unpaid, and the unworking. That is not cool. You don't have to walk into a restaurant and share with somebody in the backside who doesn't want to hear you what you did with Tamika last night. You don't have to drive down a street with your vehicle registration 3 months out of date and your tail light's not working and you're playing music that you're sharing with somebody 4.5 blocks away. Now that's where it gets crazy. Or did I get cut off again? Oh,
No, we can hear you.
okay. Well, I mean, stop blaming everything else where you have as much opportunity as anybody in this country, and 300 or 400 years worth of ancestral residency here to get it together, and you can't. That is pathetic. And if these people come in and they have the financial wherewithal to buy property rights and real estate and set up what they want to in their communities, that's their entitlement under American law. Anybody could do that if they collaborated. We don't, because when we have the financial capital, we don't invest it. We give it to some damn fool pulpit pimp who famously will get on TV and pimp those who think they're going to hell because they didn't do what they were supposed to do and say, if you support me, you'll get into pearly gates. You don't have to do a damn thing. And he's at $5,000. Anybody want to donate $5,000? Step over here. Come up those who want $1,000. You get TD Jakes and that idiot they've been putting out there for the last few. All of them. They pimp you and you want to go in there and love it. But you don't want to deal with the fact that that's why you get nowhere. I mean, if you're going to have a religion, use it for its purposes, not to get pimped by it. I mean, it's extraordinary what we are doing. And we always whine about how somebody's picking on us. Hell, the way to stop getting picked on is to stand up for yourself. They don't, I mean, the whole society is going to hell because they're trying to teach kids not to deal with bullies. You can't be an adult human without learning how to deal with a bully. That's why they got all these fools shooting places up, because invariably they don't know how to deal with a bully. They're expecting somebody to do it for them, but that's not how it works. It only works when you stand up to what the oppression is and you resist it. And we don't. We talk about it and beg about it, and we sing about it, dance about it, ideate about it, and then wonder why the hell nothing is good. So when somebody comes in and says, in our community, we've got the financial wherewithal, we have the wisdom we have acquired, we decide we're going to set up our individual communities and we want Sharia law. And maybe they know about the U.S. Arbitration Act of 1928 that has been repeatedly seconded, excuse me, by the U.S. Supreme Court, that says under that act you can privately arbitrate using any rules you want. And if you agree to it by contract, then it becomes enforceable. And we're worried about whether they're going to take over the courts. No, they can't do that. But they can certainly arbitrate to resolve their disputes, or they can have community panels to do it, which is a form of arbitration. U.S. Arbitration Act of 1928. It's legal. And we're to what? Say, oh, this other group over here has been here for hundreds of years. We're supposed to say, oh, they're so downtrodden, like the dogs who get mistreated. And poor Oscar, chained out in the kennel in the cold, has not known love. Send $19 a month to the SPCA. Oh, poor Jamal, he does not know love. He's been cast out and down. Send $19 a month to the Save a Negro Fund. That's how embarrassing it is. And then you have Cory Booker. Look what he's doing. He's sitting there so deep into pocket of folk who do not give a damn about you other than trying to pervert your family so there's no man around, no father to put toughness in the boys and decency in the girls. There's no two incomes coming into the household. Everything's chaos. And that's what he's supporting. He's supporting putting boys in sports bras and panties and going into the girls' bathrooms, toilet facilities, and shower rooms and competing against them in sports. That's what we are supposed to be getting out of black caucuses.
I just want to pause right there real quick. We got like probably 10 more minutes of this. What he said, that was so true. And I told you, I got inspired with what the judge, what he was saying last night. That's true. Cory Booker is so deep in the pockets of people who are anti-black. But y'all claim that the Democrat Party is for black people. No one is for black people, except for black people. You should be for yourself. When you look at Muslims, even LGBTQ, when you look at other groups, they know there's no politician or political party that's for them. It's about they have to be for themselves. And I don't care what anybody say, and I'm being very specific with Black Americans. A lot of people don't believe that. A lot of Black Americans say, "Oh, I believe in myself or I believe in my people," and you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't vote overwhelmingly for Democrats, the same type of Democrats, It would be more of a collective organization. Now, just a little FYI, the talking that the judge was doing, he's talking to the general masses. He wasn't saying this to sway me as if she wasn't doing anything, but he was just speaking to all of Black America and America, but specifically Black America. So I'm going to finish playing up the rest here. And I hope you guys are taking notes on this because I am.
Oh, like hell. But they get returned to office, and you have Maxine Wastewater out in California lecturing some homeless people. You're embarrassing. Go home. Why don't you go home, lady? What the hell you think we're out here for? We don't have a home.
Let me pause right there. Travis Allen, You said Buck Rogers, the judge is mixing lies and the truth. I hate when people do this. What lies and truth is he mixing? He he is very competent. He knows what the hell he's talking about. And this is the problem that I have. If you are going to throw out that type of statement, then you need to back it up. Don't just throw it out there as if what? As if you're speaking the truth. So, what lies and truth is the judge mixing up? Please answer that in the chat for me. Thank you.
Want to try Ozempic?
Oh, commercial.
So this is a
See, that kind of stuck on stupid. Or you get so desperate, they even decided to get a fake Negro that they wanted to pledge allegiance to. It's absolutely obscene. And most people in the world look at that and they don't say, oh, they're really oppressed. They say they're some damn fools. Why don't they get their stuff together?
Well, Judge, you talking to someone that is working behind closed doors. All of that don't matter to me. I'm about as a group of us, actually. So I want to see if you are willing to collaborate with us, because we are attempting to get a bill together and make sure that we are delineated as freedmen.
What do
and
you
we
need
start
that
having our
shit for?
resources
I'm
for
trying
us
to
and
tell
set up
you,
offices.
that is part of the problem. You don't need that shit. Quit wasting
Yes,
your
we do,
time, or
because
you do not.
others are getting
You
our
do not.
resources.
If you get your shit
We want
together,
our
then
own
stuff
stuff,
will
and we
come to
want them
you.
out of
Look,
our
excuse
pocket.
me. Stop wasting time on that garbage.
You don't think we need specific
Spend time
legislation, Judge?
organizing to get your economics together instead of
That is
wasting
a part of
time
the
on a political
economics.
system that doesn't give a damn for you because you won't vest consequence. You deliver
Right.
what they
We
want
want to mirror.
anyway.
We want to mirror the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Judge Joe Brown.
Why the hell do you need it?
We need to make sure that we have our offices for our resources so we can build our own
You
town.
don't need that. See, you already defeated because your mind is poisoned and you think you need that to get somewhere. You don't need it. You can do it on your own. A lot of people have. Do you think they had an office, since we were talking about it, to assist
Yes, they have
poor,
Office of
underprivileged
Immigrants,
black
right?
basketball players so they could make it in the NBA, or black athletes so they can make it in the NFL or Major League Baseball? Or did they play within the rules that were already there and just show by their merit that they were part of the thing? You don't go around whining about they need to have a special office for us so we don't have a problem. You don't have any more problems than these newbies have who come in here and use the system to their advantage. We're spending so
So
much
how do
time
we?
trying to get favorable
So
rules that we forget to use what's there.
let me make sure I'm understanding. You're saying that we should not make sure that we have our own offices for our people so that we can build out our own and make sure we have our resources so people can come and make sure that they get and are aware of these resources and can set them up, as well as making sure they get land patents and things of that nature. We don't need that.
You can do it without the government getting involved. If the government's got to teach you your culture and how to do it, you're already whipped.
But everybody else is getting that
Everybody
with the
else
government.
doesn't. The
office
government only
of
deals. The government only deals with success and
Office of
perseverance.
New Americans is all over the United States of America.
That's because they come in and they deliver consequences, and the people they represent have been in hot shooting matches with the United States of America over the last 70 years.
So they are getting jobs, resources, training, and all of that to make sure they are successful.
They
You're
aren't
saying that
being given those
freedmen should not do the same
thing. They aren't given those things. They go and exploit those opportunities. We don't take advantage of the opportunities. We're asking for somebody to do it for us. That's like a 35, 40-year-old boy living with his parents down in the basement because he can't make it in the world as a grown man.
Can
I'm
I 1 second,
confused.
sway me 1 second? Great conversation. I agree with the judge what he's saying, but I understand what you're saying. But just for a quick example, where I'm at in Ohio, this man, it could have been a group of them, but they purchased a building and they're calling that building Africa Village, right? And of course, he's an African immigrant. The city or the state didn't give him money to purchase that building. You know, you save up your money and you purchase it. It could have been through auction or whatever. So what the judge is saying, use the laws and the resources that we have access to now to buy land or property in our community and build up social economic that way. Because when you have money and you have financial resources, that dictates who you vote in locally, you know, public policies. But you got to come with money, and to come with money, you got to build up the money. So a lot of these immigrants, they do work, save, and they reinvest it, and they work the system to get property and so forth. And then they allocate for public policies specifically for them. They don't necessarily get a handout. Now, the illegals that crossed the border under Biden, yeah, they was getting all types of handouts. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the legal immigrants. So I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree. Like, yeah, we want to start creating policies specifically for us. But I think what a judge is saying, you need to change up the type of policies that you're asking for. Because what it sounds like you're asking for is, we want the government to pay us what is owed, instead of coming to the government saying this is what we want and we have the economic power to make it happen.
No. No, that's the misconception, I think. We are saying that we are delineating as the founding population of Americans, freemen. And we want to make sure we have our own separate from, in a way, it's our government, right? Our office from the national on down. And then we are making sure we enumerate our people. We can go and purchase land, right, for our people. And then we make sure we're setting up our towns. We're making sure we're employing our people. And then
Oh,
we're
let me, okay,
creating our own
so when you
industry.
said Indian, so you're talking about you want to set up a separate sovereign for Black Americans.
In
Like,
a way, yes, similar, but we're you know, we're not a sovereign nation, but we are a nation within a nation. So yes, in a way, yes, but we cannot continue to act like we have not fought and did certain things in this country for our people, like affirmative action,
all right,
and
so
then
real quick,
Mhm.
because I do have other hands and I am going to get to you
Okay,
guys.
okay.
So, Judge, so what she was saying as far as delineating and creating our own government, I so did you
Look,
want to reply?
yeah, I do. Look at where we do have our own government, the cities of America, and their shit. Because we, again, even in high places, cannot act like we have any common sense or any decency. We look at the opportunity to thieve from the people that elected you to put you in office to do something for them. The cities are hell. Do you want to move into something that's run by the same people that mess these cities up? I don't. And if you don't
Sorry.
see, if you put, and see the other thing, you don't want somebody like me in a position that would put me in, because I do some things to a whole lot of people. If you had a separate government situation, a separate nation circumstance for Black people, I'd get it together. It wouldn't be like this in 5 years if I lived that long. But a whole lot of people would not like what happened in the process. So you don't want somebody like me to be in charge, because I'd quickly take it charge. See, you don't want
Well, then
that.
why
This
would we
country
want you
is
to be in
fine.
charge?
It's got great rules. It's just like the NBA, and I'm going back to the sports thing. The National Basketball Association, when I was born, was one of the most racist institutions in the United States. The rule books haven't changed. much. But the year I was born, they brought in their first black basketball player. His name was Don Barksdale. He was an alumnus from the same university I was alumnus of, UCLA. The Lakers hired him. He came in and he was the first. Didn't anybody sit there and go through all of this, what they're going through right now, affirmative action to get him in? He just played like a champ. And he wasn't even a basketball player, because all the sports he had ever played until he graduated from UCLA was football, where he was an All-American, and ran track, where he had the 400-meter, 440-yard record for the NCAA. So he came in because he was a hell of an athlete. Look at Paul Robeson. He graduated from law school, graduated from honors, when there was no such thing as affirmative action, back before World War I.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get
A major university. And he sang too, and he was an economist, and they've been posting it on X. One of his best friends in life was the Albert Einstein. So what the devil happened to us?
So hold that thought for a second. I want to get okay. So that was the end of the exchange with Judge Joe Brown and Sway Me. And like I said, I'm definitely going to have her come on the platform, and I do want her to promote her organization. I went to the website, some really good stuff. They're doing very important things in the community, and there are like some courses, online courses, that people throughout the nations, Black people throughout the nation, can benefit from. So this is my takeaway, and I am going to pull up some of you guys' comments, and I want to play another speaker's, Duncan. I want to play his remarks too. So basically, what I gather from what the judge was saying, and I feel the same way, that there's no real investment with us, with Black Americans. Whether you agree with me or not, there are going to be people that's going to disagree. I get it. I don't care, because I'm standing on what I'm saying. There's no real investment. We do not work together as a collective. I don't want to turn this channel into a whole thing about what Black Americans need to do. My channel is more about, it is about data. It is about understanding public policies, breaking down specific policies from the past and present, and how it affects us, good or bad. But just swinging it back, we do not work together as a collective. And admitting that and taking accountability, Black Americans as a whole, we do a lot of things individually. Black Americans, what the judge was saying, we don't need the government, but you need to learn how to use the government. See, immigrants come here, they educate themselves on how to use the government to their benefit. White people, they've been doing it because they created it. Use the government, but don't rely on it. Don't expect the government to take care of you. That's not what they're here for. That's not what the Revolutionary War was for. Not for you to take care of me, but for me to take care of myself, and you to protect my rights to do so. And another thing I wanted to add, pulling resources together. See, everyone talks about individualism. Well, this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing this. And what you're doing is great as an individual. But when we look at the Muslim cities, Jewish communities throughout this nation, even the Quakers, the Mormons, it is collective. It's not individuals doing stuff or being these professionals. Pulling resources together to invest together. That is what we have to do to push forward and create a brand new narrative that's going to be in a positive directions, and to preserve Black Americans here in America. We need to pull our resources together and invest together, not individually. Because if you're across the country and you are a business owner, that's great, but that's not going to help me here. where we are at, we need to collectively come together and invest in the needs that we need to flourish in our communities. And that is what's not being done. Sometimes it is a little bit here and there, but part of it is a lot of people, Black people, don't know how to start. But if you can't admit that, you're never going to learn how to start, and it's not too late. But I want to fast forward this conversation to a person who was speaking, and I should have put down the timestamp, and I thought I did. Maybe I did not. Give me a second.
His daughters and tell.
Yeah. All right. I want to
So
go to
if this
King.
ourselves wrong, you
No.
that to it.
Be
have access to care because
All of the laws that were needed had been passed,
Give me a second. Okay.
and everything that
Passed it.
was sitting at
need to
one version of these big 6 hours are grown. He was born.
And you're talking about the
Here we go.
sectionist. It's also
just give him a second. And happening today. Those things that happen, but
and our government.
and let me invite him to speak.
Good evening to everybody on the stage. And it's a blessing to be in the space with the Honorable Judge Brown. I do agree that they have not been hostile towards us because of our complexion. But I think the part that Judge is missing is not. I know specifically from my viewpoint, it's not the complexion part that I'm talking about. It's about the fact that we come from the lineage of slavery and Jim Crow, and our government has had a consistent pattern of behavior of terrorizing my group of people. Now, you can be callous to it and act as if it's something I'm imagining or something like that. I even agree with you that we should not have a separatist movement. If America would stand true to its laws, we would have a great nation. Um, it's not like once Jim Crow ended, all of the terrorism and government sanctioned atrocities ended at that time. He is from California. I know he knows about the Iran Contra scandal and how the government pushed drugs in our community. They had a whole thing about that out there in California.
Hello?
But
Is anybody there?
Okay, so Judge, can you hear it happening today? From 2020.
I don't think he's willing to hear. And I can continue until he comes back if you don't
Well,
mind.
did you want him to hear you?
Yeah, he can hear me, but
No, he can't
I don't
hear you.
think
That's
he's
what I'm saying. So I don't know.
I,
And wait for him to come back. But this is the thing, he doesn't have to agree with you. See, he listens to people, and this is his space. This is not my space. Tuesdays is his space. He listens to people. That doesn't mean he has to agree with you or that he's going to agree with you. Those are two different things. Just because somebody doesn't agree doesn't mean they're not listening or understanding what you're saying. Because some of the stuff you're saying, Duncan, some of the stuff you're saying, Duncan, I hear you. Yes, those things did happen, but my rebuttal to that, and where I'm coming from in 2025 and in the future, what are we doing today? Yes, that happened to our ancestors, our lineage. I wasn't born then, but the things that one second, because the contraband ain't happening today. Crack has not been an epidemic for some decades now. Did it? Hold on for a second. Did it hurt the Black community? Yes, it did. Now it's time for us to repair that. Crack ain't on the streets like it was. So again, if you, and this is, I'm generalizing, this is not specifically to you or anybody else. If you don't have a plan on how to get shit done today, I don't want to hear that shit from what happened in the past. Because if you're going to talk about the past, what needs to be followed up is a plan for today and the future. That is how you don't repeat the past. And that conversation is not being had in no spaces. There are people doing the work with their organizations locally. They're putting a lot of time and effort in. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about when we are having these discussions and everybody, and I'm coming to you, Duncan, but everybody has a right to believe what they believe and express their perspective and their ideology. But make no mistake about it, when I push back or say I disagree or have a different opinion, that doesn't mean that, I'm dismissing what you're saying. We just have a different way of looking at things. So what you're saying is accurate. Those things did happen to us. So now what? That's what I'm getting at. But go ahead, you have the floor.
Yeah, and it's not that I'm saying that I don't think that it's things that we could do to combat government sanctioned atrocities, right? Where the government had its hand in undermining our communities, even up to modern times. Because I'm at the age, I don't look at the cocaine and the crack epidemic as bad. And I also want to say that we don't have the platform a lot of these legal immigrants have. You're talking about the Saudis. The Saudis can come over here and build up communities. They got billions upon billions of dollars in oil money. You talk about the Chinese on the skyline of the LA. You're talking about China. They have a platform like China to come over here and do these type of things. And I'm not gonna hold up.
I sell products on Amazon, but I don't sell physical.
The newly arrivals to try to shame the descendants of slaves, because really the newly arrivals are the one that brought the degeneracy. Before the Italians came over here, the mafia came over here. You're talking about black communities that there was an agricultural society. They went to church, came home, and worked. That's what they did. But when those newly arrivals came over, they brought over that degeneracy, they brought over the murder, they invented the drive-bys, and all this type of stuff. And now that they have influenced our culture so greatly, right, where everybody want to be a mobster, we got to act like it's something that we did. No, it's not. And I can't pretend that the crack epidemic was a long time ago, because it's not. We just had trap music. Trap music probably been out just for a few years, where they went into drill, right? But that was not a long time ago. But now is it to say poor me, we can't do nothing? No, not at all. What we can do is galvanize around what they owe me. Cause I'm the type, if you owe me money, special field order number 15, if you owe me money, I'm not the type that gonna sit up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna let you have that." No, give me my money, right?
So
If
let me
that,
ask you a question.
that
Let me ask you a question real quick, Duncan. So are
okay.
you saying that the objective for Black Americans should be where's my money, or should the objective be um what is it that we have to do to repair our community ourselves?
Well, the thing is, I think it's a multifaceted approach.
No, and
Um,
so this is where me and you differ. It's not to me, because you cannot claim to be a victim and a victor at the same time. You got to pick one. If you want to be a victim, be a victim. If you want to be a victor, be a victor. And what does that require? That requires a different objective of not you owe me something. It's more like this is what I need right now to build up my community or to get whatever done, and I'm going to get it done by any means necessary. And then I'm going to dictate to you, Mr. Government or whoever, that I need resources for blah 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 blah. But again, that's why I said it's the objective is to get a check from the government, or to start allocating and building things ourselves.
Well, I think when I responded, you tried to box me into a response that you didn't agree with. I said it's a multifaceted approach, meaning we should do like me. I'm an owner operator. I own my own truck. I'm an independent contractor, right? I'm not just sitting around waiting on the government to give me a check. Every time you talk to me, I'm at work, right? My great grandfather, he has his own town, William Duncan. We had our own town called Duncanville, Alabama, right? We have built things. We got stuff. I got land. I got all type of stuff because my folks work hard, and then I work hard to buy my own truck. I'm always at work, so it's not that I'm just sitting around waiting on a check. So I can't allow anyone to box me in and say, "Oh, I'm just sitting around waiting on a check." But what I am saying, Dana, in respect to you and the judge, what I am saying to try to combat this, we have galvanized around the issue of reparations, right? And we're saying that, hey, you owe us. The issue of reparations is the foundation of the Republican Party, right? In the beginning of the Republican Party, that we are the root of the Republican Party. So what I'm saying is, I want to take back what was ours before the Southern strategy and say that, hey, let's get back to the abolitionist party, that type of mindset. But this whole type of mindset that me as an American citizen should have no expectations from a nation I'm a part of is ridiculous. I want the people that talk like that start talking about cutting foreign aid out altogether. If you're gonna say fuck, excuse me, if you're gonna say forget me and my claim, say forget foreign aid first, please. Right? Because they the ones that want a handout. And then these people, like I said, and I'm gonna land by this. These people come from a country that have oil money. They come from countries like China. You come from countries like Mexico that have a multi-billion-dollar drug trade annually, and you want to compare us to them? You got to be out your mind. And even the UN acknowledges that the United States owe us, and the United States set up the UN. So you can't set up the United Nations, and the United Nations say you owe these people, but then you want to ignore it. No, because we really, when you're callous to a situation, you can find any excuse not to acknowledge the legitimacy of it. But the legitimacy of reparations is rooted in the Republican Party. And I don't care who agree with me or not. But hey, I still love and respect y'all. And respect y'all definitely, but I definitely agree with it. Disagree. And let me say this, and I'm done. The judge was right about one thing, but he needs to really pay attention to what we're talking about. We're saying that our complexion is not the problem because Africans come over here and they don't get treated like us. The West Indians, a lot of people come over here. No, the fact that we were slaves in this country, the United States has a history of being committed to mistreating our people from slavery, Jim Crow, to like I said, pushing drugs in our community. And you're talking about the same people that destroyed Russia in the Cold War, right? With propaganda. So if Russia could not, the whole USSR could not stand against American propaganda, how you expect people fresh out of Jim Crow to stand? The USSR couldn't even stand up against American propaganda. It's ridiculous, man. It's
Well,
ridiculous and callous, by the
well,
way.
real quick, Duncan.
Okay,
We're not fresh out of Jim Crow. I'm not.
can I can I
I'm not fresh
reply?
out of Jim Crow.
Can,
My mama,
may
I'm the
I
first one.
reply?
I
I'm
am.
not.
My mama,
May I
everybody before me
reply?
was in Jim Crow.
May I reply?
So I am.
May I reply? Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Yes, sir.
now
I went on Mike out
my
of respect. Yes,
maternal
sir.
grandfather was born in 1850. He died in. He said I was auditioning. I auditioned at least.
Because right now we're being
Oh, listen, you could. Oh, wait. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Let me know if you guys can hear me.
because right now
Can you hear me? Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, you can hear me. So here's the thing. Go to at The Real Judge Joe Brown. You can hear the rest of it. That was a really good conversation. That was a good space. And that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, Sway Me, Duncan, and even when Carrie came on, actually, I'm going to clip hers and play it when I do my medical panel. We are not a monolith, Black people. We are not a monolith. And I don't want us to be. I'm about to get to the comments now. But I will say this, we have to learn to collectively work together. And that takes some trust. So Travis says, the judge is mixing lies and truth. And I hate when people do this. And I did reply to that. Bless up, Miss Dana. Great work. Thank you, Yogi Fish. She sends in super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Walter, for the super chat earlier. Here go Buck Rogers. The judge said that Blacks have the same opportunity as whites. That is the lie he told. Okay. In 2025, yeah, you do. Rights, keyword, rights. Yes, you do. You've had the same rights for a very long time. The difference between white and Black is wealth. And that is because of centuries and decades ago, going up until, let's say, 1964, there were a lot of public policies that made it harder or completely exempt us from building wealth. Because there are a lot of Black people who did generate wealth, but I'm generalizing it. It was public policies that made it harder. And then there were also some policies that exempt us. So we have the same rights as white people. We just don't have the same wealth. And that is our focus. Our focus should be building wealth. Getting hot. The judge said that Blacks have the same opportunity as white. That is a lie he told. Didn't you hear that BS? No, he did not say. He said that but Buck Rogers, again, you were wrong, but that was to Travis. Travis again, Dana, you don't know any successful Black people. Dana, white America has put up barriers, regulations to impede our process. I know I know more successful Black people than I do poor people. I don't want to know a whole bunch of poor people, and I don't care what background you're from. I mean, if you're poor and you cool. Do I know personally a lot of successful Black people? 90% of the people that I know are successful. That was really 99%. Yes, I do. And white America did not hold them back. White America did not hold them back. And this is what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to hear this talk anymore. I'm not trying to hear white America is holding me back. I don't want to hear that BS. I don't. I really don't. Travis, honey, you burning up that chat today. Thank you. Dana, integration crippled us. But nobody forced you to go shop at white-owned department stores or businesses. So integration crippled us. Then you need to take out integration and say Black people crippled us, because Black people chose to take their money and shop in white establishments. He is saying we can do it without it. Yeah, you could do it without the government. The government is not your daddy or your mommy. And for so long, particularly black women, they are looking to the government as their husband, as their daddy, as their mommy. No. Do it yourself, and then you use the government for your benefit. The judge is talking mentality. Yes, he is too, because that's where it starts. The way you think is what action is going to come out. If you think that you are a victim, then everything that you do is going to be victim minded. Then it's like, oh, I feel sorry for me. If you think like a victim, then your outcome is going to be victimish, if that's a word. I have to know who I'm building with first, of course, because business is business. Dana, I use peppermint oil. Thank you. You know what? I don't think I have peppermint oil. I'm not sure, but I'm about to pop some pills when I'm about to be finished here in about 10 minutes. Dana, you can be a competent tradesman, but you need a business plan to get a business loan. Absolutely. So why don't you create a business loan? Is a white man trying to prevent you from creating a business loan? Absolutely not. And if you don't know how to create a business loan, there are a lot of business courses that are free in your city. Thank you, Courtney, for the super chat. Says Dana, I know my comment is off topic, but I think you look great with the micro braids. You're rocking. Thank you. Actually, these are the knotless boho. The knotless boho, and I just put it up in a bun. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And this is the last one that I picked up from Travis again. Dana, what should we do according to the question you asked to do once we decide? What do you mean? Have a plan. Have a plan. When you decide that you want to do something, then create a plan on how to get it done. It is easier when you are not doing it by yourself. You get further along and you get more done and you achieve more when you're not doing it yourself. I feel as though for so long, right now, Black Americans, we're doing a lot of things ourselves, and we need to stop doing that. We really do. We need to stop being selfish and only, thinking of ourselves, doing things ourselves, just achieving things for ourselves. Listen, if you make it and you become successful, give back, especially to the youth. That is very important. That's very important. And invest in the youth. I tell any and everybody that invest in the youth, because that is the future of our race, of our nationality, of our lineage. Always give back. Learn how to work together. Learn how to pull your resources and invest. And we're not doing that. So before you could talk about white supremacy, the white man this and the white man did that and the government did this, are you able to work with your neighbor? And I can tell you right now, there's a lot of neighbors that I will not work with. I'm talking about Black people. It have to be like-minded. Me and Duncan, we had a little disagreement, even a little bit with me and Sway Me. Will I ever do business with them or entertain working with them? Absolutely. Because we're still like-minded individuals. He owns his own business. That takes a lot of hard work and effort. And his mindset is, how can I better my community, my people? The same with Sway Me. Now, how we get there may be slightly different, but I will absolutely still work with them. I will absolutely pull resources and do my part or collaborate, which I do plan on having Sway Me on. And this is another thing about X Spaces, right? Or X. There's a lot of great people who are on X, but a lot of times I would love to have more people that I meet on X come on my platform in a panel. Some people don't want to show their face, which is a luxury which is why X is a luxury to participate in, because you don't have to show your face, your real name, or nothing like that. You could kind of stay anonymous. And a lot of people, again, listen, they work for corporate, they have their own business, they ain't trying to get doxxed. I get it. If people disagree with what they're saying, I do this for a living, but I am going to be reaching out to people who, I find interesting to be on panels that I want to start having. And if you guys are interested in being on panels on my channel, having a variety of discussions, send me an email, danawiththedata@gmail.com. You have to show your face, so if you're comfortable showing your face, if you're comfortable having discussions, whatever the topic may be, send me an email, danawiththedata@gmail.com, and just let me know you're interested in being on a panel. So yeah, that's it. Travis said, I agree with you. Today on individual crab mentality calls I invest in my youth. Yeah, exactly. And there are a lot of people who are doing their part where they live at, which is very important. So I'm not saying that people are not doing what they need to do. Because listen, we don't live we in the same area, like we're all spread it out. I'm just playing with the background here. So this is cute, but it's kind of like Simpson-ish, like Simpsons. Let me see something. Yeah. Yeah, I could put this up here. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Listen, I have a headache, so I'm not really myself. You have to be willing to make sacrifices, get ahead. Exactly. Exactly. I have a lot of shortcomings at my age now that I am working on. I don't point the finger at any other group, immigrant, white, government. I don't, because until I tackle my shortcomings and start improving on me, I cannot blame nobody else. So there are things that I personally need to work on, and there are things that I already achieved that I'm really good at. I am going to still criticize politicians because they're all pieces of shit and liars and bought and paid for. That's something else. But as far as, listen, I don't sit up here and think I have all the answers. I don't ever want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't want to just go through my life working for myself on a investing individually. I would love to invest as in a community, but you need like-minded people. And I don't want to deal with anyone that's want to sit up here and blame white people, blame immigrants. I don't want to hear none of that talk. I don't want to hear none of that victim mentality. I don't even want to hear anything from the past unless it's something that we need to reference that's going to benefit us today. I was not a part of Jim Crow. I was not a part of slavery. There have been all those Black people who have sacrificed, who have died, who have fought and won, and some lost, but who actually did things that were very uncomfortable during their time so that I could reap the benefits today. I am reaping the benefits of the people who had suffered in the past. And I don't take that for granted, and none of us should. And if you are pointing the fingers at the white person, you are taking all of that hardship that our people have done in the past for granted. We don't have those issues today. I don't care if you agree with me or not. You're wrong and I'm right on that one. We don't have those issues today. Society is already hard. When you talk about taxes, cost of living, food, all this other stuff, we don't have to worry about Jim Crow on top of our head anymore. So get off that victim mentality shit. And like I said, you don't have to agree. I don't give a fuck. There are people who hold spaces that talk shit about me. I don't care. Because I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. But we all need to play our part. So thank you guys. Listen, when this video is over, I want you to go to a premiere that's going to pop up. So go and watch that premiere video and like it and share it. And I will see you guys in the next video. And thank you so much for the super chats and everybody in the chat, everybody watching, everybody on X. Love you. Bye.